Good morning, everyone. We are blessed to be here today. It is Office Hours, episode 614, and I have my mentor with me, the double B, Blaine Bartlett, BlaineBartlett.com. He's moving possibilities into reality and has for me in so many years. And Blaine, thank you so much again for waking up early. And although I know you have many activities, even this early in the morning.
Even this early, yes, I do. It's great to be here as always. And especially to have a double D, not a double B, but a double D on the show today. You and David both. So looking forward to this.
They don't name kids David anymore. So it's nice when I get another David on board here with me. And David Hoffman is an expert, not just in reality, but realty. And also he's an expert in what I consider to be the most valuable asset that I have, a capital that is compassionate. As Blaine has our book behind him, Compassionate Capitalism. It is directly relative to the relationships or the relationship capital that is most valuable to all of us. And I have built over 35 years a neighborhood of people who want to help each other and know people that can help each other. And I'm sure a neighborhood like that, especially in realty, allows you to have a neighborhood of people that buy from you and sell for you and for life. And I think nothing's more valuable than that in real estate. Welcome to Office Hours, David Hoffman.
Thank you for having me, David.
Well, I know your book is a sister to Compassionate Capitalism, The Relationships Over Rules, 7 Principles to Lead Gracefully and Love Generously. Looks at these 7 different principles to build this neighborhood that I talked about. I was wondering if you could share one of the principles and how it is applicable to building this neighborhood of people that want to buy from us and sell for us.
Yeah, absolutely. In the marketplace, and so many are in the marketplace. I know Blaine is in the marketplace and in the mission fields, and so are you, David, and myself as well on some level. In the marketplace, we need to focus more outside of the transaction. I think people mistake a good experience inside of the transaction. You have a nice meal with your better half. You go on a good vacation and the hotel gives you a good experience. In my world, you have a positive, smooth transaction in real estate. And the other side thinks, okay, the agent thinks, the client thinks that was a relationship. No, a true relationship is outside the transaction when you give more than you take. And so David and Blaine, just like you guys preach all the time, and like this morning, you're giving without taking. There's no agenda, and that's the other side of the relationship is meeting somewhere they are without an agenda. Showing up with no reason for the meeting. And I think we get stuck in this world where we think we have to take. Well, that person already bought from me. There's no value in that relationship right now. If they need me again, then they'll call. But we just need to meet people without an agenda. Like you said, David, almost 40 years of building a community where you just serve others and love on others. And then they'll reciprocate and they see your heart and they see how smart you are. And then they want to care how much you know because they know how much you care.
David, the idea, and I love the title of the book, Relationships Over Rules, because it does speak to that whole notion of transactionality. There are rules in transactions. And the question that I've got here has to do with the nature of trust in business relationships and then just in relationships. Because business relationships are basically organized around a series of transactions. The trust component is almost always linked to those transactional interactions. When you're looking at the relationships that you talk about, just in the full form of a relationship, there's no transaction involved. So in my experience, the nature of trust changes, the face of trust changes, and what I pay attention to, particularly time, starts to change. I can stub my toe in a relationship, but I can't stub my toe in a transaction because trust is in play in a different way. What's your experience, particularly in the realty field, or how that actually plays out?
Yeah, that was well said, Blaine. So we have 3 guiding principles in the workforce and at home that I live by. Be the friend, be the expert, and be present. And it's exactly what you just said. Inside the transaction, you have to be the expert. You can't stub your toe. You can't make a mistake. You can't ask for grace. You have to be present. You have to walk a mile in their shoes. You have to understand what they need. It's not relevant what you need. But then outside the transaction, you have to be the friend, and you have to be there for them. And you need to be there where they can drop their guard and then they can reciprocate and give you a chance. And so you nailed it. I think people mistake the two. They think, well, because they're my friend outside the transaction, I don't need to be the expert inside of it. They'll work with me regardless, but they don't realize that even if they will work with you, are you helping them or are you hurting them? And then that's where you get the business and personal doesn't mix. Everyone wants to work with their best friend, but they're not sure if you truly are the expert or if you're going to stub your toe throughout the transaction. Or maybe they are the expert, but do you have the time? Maybe you're not going to stub your toe, but it's because you're too focused on how you look in the mirror or helping someone else with their next transaction. And so being the expert and being present inside the transaction, being the friend and being present outside of the transaction, I've found that really earns that trust where you're not faking it to where you make it inside, but then you still care for them as a friend when there's nothing for you to receive outside of it.
It's interesting. You talked about a relationship being transactional, but the 7 principles we discuss in the book, in all relationships, not just in real estate, but in all relationships, are supposed to be transformational. And there's 3 criteria that I look at in the relationship capital that I have. And a lot of times, I started in my evaluation of the transformational relationships in my life of 1 criteria, which was bleeding or feeding. And that didn't really make sense because, I have 4 children, and anyone that has children know that children will bleed you. And yes, they feed you some, but they will bleed you, and especially 3 daughters, they will bleed you. And then I said, well, what other criteria would this be a transformational relationship? So then I said, well, how relative are they to me? So my mom, who's 81, it is a pleasure that she bleeds me. My children are a pleasure that they bleed me. And I have no expectations of them feeding me because it's actually the bleeding that feeds. And then the interesting one was people say, well, what do I do with the guy who office is next to me and he's an electron? Just every time he looks at me, he sucks my energy out of me. What do I do with that? And I said, well, there must be a 3rd criteria of association. In your experience, in the principles, how can we utilize our relationships as transformational, not transactional? And are there criteria that you utilize to have these relationships over rules?
Yeah, absolutely, David. And that was beautifully said. I love that bleeding and feeding. I was telling Blaine that we took a precious little 10-year-old girl into our life late last year. And everyone's like, oh, wow, David, you and your wife, you're such blessings. No. I'm receiving joy by serving her, by loving on her, the hugs, the interaction. If someone is placed in your life, and if you have faith and you believe that it came from God, then that person is supposed to be there. But if someone's down the hall, you are allowed to have boundaries. For you, for example, David, with your 4 kids, your 3 daughters and your boy, you feed them all day and night, even if you don't get fed back today, tomorrow, or ever, on earth. Your wife, your mom, you feed them even if you feel like you're bleeding in that feeding. But the guy down the hall that the zoning made it where you're in the same office building, they might be a stranger, just like the neighbor. If the neighbor needs something and you can help them, you help them, even if you feel like you're bleeding. But you don't have to let everyone in. You need the boundaries. We live a couple hours from the mountains, and I always use this example, guys. We live in Charlotte. We always use the example of you got guardrails to the right so you don't fall off the cliff. And you've got a double yellow line on the left so you don't hit the ongoing traffic or the mountains. You can move from there. You can bleed with your loved ones, your growing community. David, you have a large community. Blaine, you're going to be in Africa with so many. That is a one-way street. It's unilateral where you are serving unconditionally. If you receive That's wonderful. That's not why you're doing it. But you can't go over the guardrail. You can't let everyone in to suck you dry, because then you won't have time to feed your wife and your mom. You won't have time for your 4 kids. And so we do have to put up boundaries for those that God puts in our life versus those that we seek out. Because the other side of it is, it's too easy to seek out the next transaction and leave your past client behind. It's too easy to seek out the next bride or the next husband because you didn't get the love language this morning. You didn't get told how wonderful you were. It's too easy to say, oh, my mom's 81. She knows I love her. I'll get to her next week. My mom only lived to be 52. I had the regret. My one regret in life, guys, is I didn't get to say goodbye. I saw her at an open casket in the funeral. Never wait. It's not bleeding. I mean, you guys both know this better than me. You're being fed more than you can ever give, as long as you put up the boundaries and don't let everyone in.
Yeah, well, you're speaking my love language and Blaine's as well. It's a book for all of us, whether you're in real estate or not, because it is the relationship capital, the neighborhood, the frequency of people that want to help each other, and know people that can help each other. Claude Silver last night at my VIP dinner in New York City, she said, well, there's 2 types of friends I have. There's friends you go snorkeling with and friends that you scuba dive with. And I thought that was a great boundary as well. And I will tell you this, we are blessed to scuba dive together here on Office Hours. Dave Hoffman, promise us you'll come back. We appreciate you. Have a blessed day and continue the great work. Check out Relationships Over Rules. You can see them and get them anywhere, especially davidhoffmanrealty.com. Thanks so much.
Thanks, David.
Have a wonderful day.
You too. All right, moving along. We're going to stay on schedule because my friend Blaine is at Dave Meltzer activities today, and we are rocking and rolling. I'm Blaine, actually speaking. You're a chief chancellor. I mean, you're a chancellor with me as the chief chancellor of Junior Achievement University worldwide, and I'm speaking today for them at 7 a.m. Pacific time. So we're both on a great schedule, and I appreciate everything that you do. By the way, Junior Achievement was for the 2nd year nominated for a Nobel Prize.
Yes.
A great honor, and just blessed to be a part of Junior Achievement, as well as the Unstoppable Foundation, which Ben and I sit on the board of, and I'm blessed to be the chairman of. And somebody we know really well is the founder as well of Unstoppable, the incredible the Accuracy. Speaking of incredible, we want more incredible here on Office Hours. And when you demand more, you get more with us. That's William Moore here, the founder and CEO of Fallow Phil. Welcome to Office Hours.
Thank you. Good morning. How are you?
Doing great, William.
We're blessed to have you here. I have actually been down the rabbit hole, scuba diving into biohacking, learning about things like CRISPR-9 and gene editing and all types of phenomenal ideas that I had no idea they're existing here. And you yourself at Fallow Phil have an extraordinary procedure and an advanced U biohacking. Give me an idea of what exactly an advanced U biohacking is.
Well, so Advanced U is the name of my clinic where I specialize in biohacking and human enhancement. So I have modalities that are designed to reduce inflammation, increase mitochondrial activity, to basically make someone live longer, feel better, perform better. So we have a hyperbaric oxygen chamber that you breathe 95% oxygen under pressure. Like what you would do if you were in scuba diving and you came up too fast, and they would take you back down to pressure. I have exercise with particular type of resistance training that loads your muscles better and gives you a better workout in a shorter period of time. For people who don't have time to go to the gym, I can give them a full workout in less than 15 minutes for their entire body, and they will be spent like you actually spent an hour or more in the gym. I've got cryotherapy that we would do after an exercise workout. We take you down to negative 270 degrees to help your muscle recovery. I have a red light bed that has this red light and 3 other beams of infrared light that helps your body recover and produce more mitochondrial activity and also reduce inflammation. I've got exercise with 95% oxygen. and I have a meditation bed. Well, part of wellness and longevity is that you have to be able to let your body recover after these exercises, and we can take you into a full meditative state, which is called theta, and let your body actually begin to recover. So we combine all these things together, give you a protocol that will help you feel better, live longer, increase your metabolism, and that sort of thing. But Fallowfill is offered in my clinic, which is not exactly a biohacking procedure, but because I own the biohacking and I own the Fallowfill, they're in separate sides of the clinic in Dallas. But we
Nice.
have
And
multiple locations for Fallowfill all over the country.
And just as a side note, I've been studying theta meditation, quantum healing for over 17 years, and for
Amazing.
20 minutes a day has changed my life. And when I talk about my neighborhoods and my frequency, it all started as a cornerstone with theta meditation and understanding different frequencies of the universe fields and the human body. So that's amazing. Double B, Blaine Bartlett, what do you got for us?
Yeah, William, I was intrigued by the Department of Labor's designating, or actually not designating, nominating and then confirming you into their Hall of Fame for the work that you've done in the LGBT community. Can you just kind of in a Cliff Note version highlight? I mean, the Hall of Fame, that's a big deal.
Well, the way that we got there is that my previous partner was fired in 2010 for being gay. And he recorded the phone conversation. There was no question about it that he was fired for being gay. But at that time, the federal laws didn't protect LGBT for being fired for being gay. So the Title VII, the sex, national origin, gender, that didn't cover. It had never included sexual orientation in the definition of sex. So it took us 10 years to get to the U.S. Supreme Court, which we never would have thought that this case was going to head to the U.S. Supreme Court. Don got killed in an accident in 2014 before he ever got to go to federal court. I was his beneficiary, his executive estate. Myself and his sister took it all the way to the Supreme Court. We won. And so now it's illegal to fire someone for being gay under Title VII. And the Secretary of the Department of Labor chose that case to be inducted into the Hall of Fame. It's actually my partner Don that had passed away. So his name is on the wall in there with the case at the Department of Labor. But we did have a big ceremony in October, and I'm supposed to go to the Pride celebration that is going to be at the White House this summer in June, but they haven't announced the date yet. So I'm hoping to get to go meet Joe Biden and some other people there at the White House this summer.
Congratulations on that, truly.
Thank you.
And just to finish up real quick, because I'm a mama's boy, and I think it's interesting that I never knew that in 1975, when my dad left my mom couldn't get credit cards because you couldn't get credit unless you had a man. I also have fought at a lesser degree with Warren Moon, and we dreamed of someday that people wouldn't even know that, you couldn't play quarterback in the NFL because you were black, and he had to play for 6 years in Canada. My wishes are the same for sexual orientation. I hope that my kids, when they're 56 years old, they'll be as shocked as the kids are today. And I tell them, hey, like women could not get credit cards without a man, or if you were black, you couldn't play quarterback in the NFL. They'll be equally surprised that you could be fired because of your sexual orientation. And I think luckily we are well on our way, and really appreciate the significance of what you're doing in all three realms. I think it's just fascinating with Fallowfill and what we can do with the human body and the editing and enhancements of the human body. And then two, of course, biohacking is, I'm scuba diving with biohacking lately, and theta meditation, of course. But most importantly, I think the work that you're doing to allow people to appreciate our differences. I don't really like the word equity. I always say appreciation and inclusion is a much better word, considering I believe everybody is a unique fingerprint. You, Blaine, I are 1 in 8 billion. And there's nobody like any of us. So instead of equity, let's use appreciation and inclusion. And I certainly appreciate your leadership and what you're doing in all three of your fields. If you want to check out Fallowfill, go to fallowfill.com. Check out the biohacking measures at the Advanced U clinic that you have. And of course, let's also appreciation and inclusion for every individual fingerprint that exists on this earth. We need more leaders like William Moore. That's why I said, if you want more, just ask for more. We asked for more and got William Moore. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me. It's a
Thank
pleasure.
you, William.
Congrats. What a great guy. All right. I talk about the world of more than enough of everything for everyone.
Yeah.
I'm an old man when it comes to wordplay, puns, alliterations.
I love how you work with it. I really do.
All right. You know, we don't just let everybody in this house, speaking of puns. And I'm very
Okay, I was wondering how you were going to do that.
I'm very picky to who I let in my house, but this man, Adam House, has become not only my neighbor, but housemate of mine. He's the CEO and founder of House of Bricks. He co-hosted my VIP dinner last night in New York City, and we were raising money and elevating awareness for the Startup X by the House of Bricks. Welcome to Office Hours, Adam House.
Thank you, and appreciate you having me, and thank you for allowing me to co-host the event last night. It was amazing. Got some great feedback from people, support for our Startup X program, empowering entrepreneurs. I got to bring my better half, Vanessa, which you were able to meet and get her out of the house, away from the poor little house boy. So out of that house and into this house, and we can do house puns all day long. So
yeah, which I may have to do, but more importantly, I was wondering, what was your takeaway from last night? You know, I always like to ask someone when we have a significant, a significant event like that, what their takeaway was. Do you have a takeaway you can share with us?
For my key takeaway, it is the importance of being around like-minded people, right? Communities have been around since the beginning of time, and they will never be replaced. They won't be replaced by AI or Chat GPT. It's just the power of human frequency. When you get together on the same energy, David, just like you and I connected, I just knew you were the right person for me to work with. And ever since we've been talking, and this isn't a David Meltzer commercial, this is another advertisement on the house. So I just, getting in your presence and all the things that you've accomplished and walked through was truly inspirational and transformational for me and my business. We were kind of hitting some walls in progress, and we've broken through those. And so the tailwind is behind us, and we have a lot of momentum going forward.
Talk a little bit about, if you would, Adam, about the House of Bricks, about what you positioned last night at the dinner.
Yeah, so the House of Bricks, you cut out for a second, but the House of Bricks is all about using every experience and every obstacle as a stepping stone. We have two choices in life. You can either let experiences weigh you down, right, and carry them like bricks, or you can lay them down and build a strong foundation. And that's what we're teaching entrepreneurs to do. 9 out of 10 businesses fail. And yet everyone wants to be an entrepreneur. And that's what I'm trying to expose right now, is there is a silent struggle. Like we're too prideful to admit that we're depressed, but we spend a lot of time struggling and we're grinding. And so the House of Bricks is not about a kumbaya and we sit around and talk about our feelings, but it is that self-awareness of now how to use it for a competitive advantage, because all pressure can be positive if you have the right mindset.
Beautiful.
And it's mindset, heart set, and hands that are the bricks that build the house. And in that realm of mindset, heart set, and handset, Adam was raising money. Now, it's difficult when I keep one of the VIP dinners because I'm always raising money for Unstoppable. But to have you as a co-host and to raise money for something else that was important for me in my own backyard. We're raising over $100,000 for 10 early stage founder scholarships with the Startup program. And I wouldn't be here but for scholarships. Neither would my siblings. Having a single mom raising 6 kids, it was impossible even back then to afford school. And any type of support. How important is the scholarship fund for you, and what personal relevance does it have?
Well, again, as I mentioned last night, there aren't any free rides in the house of bricks, right? You have to have, whether it's, if you have $10, you pay $10. We've all been there as entrepreneurs. You're, taking out credit cards you shouldn't take. You're borrowing money from friends and family. But they do need something. Everyone needs a break. Like meeting you, David, was the break that I needed for where I was in this business. No matter how much success you've had in life, there's always someone that can empower you to go further. And so with all of my success, I needed that next level, and that's, getting connected with you. And that's what I want to provide for these entrepreneurs. So it's not a gift, it's an opportunity, but they will be held accountable. My 4 boys can attest to the accountability of the house rules. So, we create opportunity, but you have to earn it and keep it. And that's the same thing that we're going to do with these entrepreneurs. So we're giving them an opportunity, and they have the choice to earn it or not. And it's really important. I'm at that perfect place in life where all of my struggles over the last 27 years of being an entrepreneur can now empower and elevate other entrepreneurs to succeed in their journey.
That's awesome. And Blaine, just to finish up, I want you to incorporate your last question as your takeaway as well. So incorporate your takeaway into the last question. We can get you to your meeting
Beautiful.
approximately at 6:30.
Yeah, the notion of resilience comes into play here. And I'm going to run this thread through our 2 previous guests as well. Relationship over rules. I get caught into rules. All of a sudden I start, living somebody else's game, living somebody else's life, doing somebody else's dance. The biohacking. I mean, there's just an incredible amount of energy that's stored in our body that can be used in an amazingly creative way if we can find ways to tap into it. And one of those ways is, through authenticity, and authenticity is the catalyst for resilience. So in that sense, you've been an entrepreneur for 25 years. You've exited, what I think at least 3 companies here, multimillion-dollar exits. How does resilience play into your life, both as an entrepreneur, but also as a father, husband, son, citizen?
Yeah, so the most resilient person in the room is my wife, to be able to, trek along with 7 different businesses. But it's that you really don't have an option as an entrepreneur. You have to be resilient. When I have entrepreneurs approach me, the first thing I try to do is discourage them from being an entrepreneur. I want to see how committed they are to the process. So we all want to start a business, but we really want to get into the struggle zone and spend 80% of our time testing, failing, learning, and growing. And most don't. And that's why they fail. But that's the power of community. It's the power of advisors. It's the power of the 2 of you getting on and even, talking about it. It's something that needs to be exposed and talked about more. And then the first step is exposing it, but the second is how do you use that to build the resilience? And again, it's the power of community and having advisors that have walked through and are where you want to be.
Beautiful.
Thank you so much. With 9 out of 10 entrepreneurs failing, it is important that they build their business, their life, their personal values on a house of bricks. And it takes people like Adam House, Blaine Bartlett, in order to establish the principles, the values, the practices, the execution model in order to facilitate that house of bricks. Nobody knows the house of bricks better. Check out his podcast, The House of Bricks. Check out Startup X by House of Bricks. The founder of House of Bricks, go.adamhausersenior.com. It's right there. Go ahead and join us in an effort to build our company. Last point, and I'll let Blaine go. the entrepreneurs will save this world. So it's people like Blaine Bartlett and Adam House that are helping us save this world. They'll figure out how to fill the hole in our atmosphere and turn plastics into food. I promise you, there's been bigger things done by entrepreneurs in the past, and there'll be even greater things done in the future. Thank you both, Blaine Bartlett and Adam House, for joining us on Office Hours.
Thanks, David.
You got
Right
it.
on time.
Good luck, Blaine. All right, everyone. I'm actually going to go get ready to speak at Junior Achievement, their international worldwide convention. Blessed to be the Chief Chancellor of Junior Achievement University. We've been nominated for a Nobel Prize our second year. So it's a great honor to be a part of Junior Achievement. Believe it or not, we have over 100 million alumni. It's the 7th largest NGO, 7th largest charity in the world. And I'm blessed to be a part of Junior Achievement. And we'll be pouring into that community worldwide today. And I appreciate the opportunity to be a part of that. Please, everyone, know that we will be in Manila next, and then coming back to Orange County. We'll be in LA and New York. We have a variety of things going on. If you want to be notified where I am and when I am, use what I use to figure out where I am. 949-298-2905. If you'd like a book, all you got to do is email me. I will sign it, send it to pay for shipping and the book. I think I'm the only one that does that. David@dmeltzer.com. David@dmeltzer.com. Tomorrow's our free Friday training, and the training will be on our takeaways and how to make and take takeaways of the day. 6 a.m. Pacific time will be our free Friday training. We're almost on 25 years in October, so over 24 years of free Friday trainings every single week. This is episode 14 of Office Hours. Most importantly, remember, remind, and recollect with us. Go ahead and rewatch these three extraordinary people, David Hoffman, William Moore, and of course, my friend Adam House from the House of Bricks. They are more interested than interesting. They're also more kind. They're kind to their future self, all of them doing good deeds. So should you. Reminder, please join us tomorrow for free Friday training. Thank you so much. Enjoy your day. Take care.